Hi, lovely and darling viewers. It's Jen here at Check Her Joy, and this time I'm reviewing the Simpsons Futurama Crossover Crisis. This is a series of comics slash graphic novel that tell a story of the Simpsons and Futurama clashing, hence the crossover. This is from 2010. It's published by Bongo Comics. Both of these series are created by Matt Groening, and art and writing on these are by Ian Boothby, James Lloyd, and Steve Steere Jr., or at least the main storyline. There is also bonus Simpsons comics in here, and the complete list of what comics are included, as well as the authors and artists, will be in the description below, because there's a lot of people who worked on this. So first off, this is a slipcover edition, at least the one that I have, my sister has. Ta-da! So we have this pretty book. Gorgeous. I love it. And it also comes with the bonus first reprinting of the first issue of The Simpsons, which is pretty awesome. And it also has additional sketches in here and alternate cover works in here in panels. So if you guys are interested in special features, that's what's included. So the main storyline is broken up into two sections. There is one where the Planet Express group from the show Futurama cross over into the Simpsons world, and then the second half of it is the group from the Simpsons crossing over into the world of Futurama. Hopefully you know these shows before going into it, because that'll make it way better. You could probably go into this without having much knowledge of these shows, but I think it's really appeals to people who are fans of both, or at least have base knowledge of who the Simpsons are in Springfield and who the Planet Express crew is and New York. So this story follows the Planet Express crew as they get sent into a Simpsons comic. They encounter the brain spawn, which are the floating brains. They're an alien species that's trying to take over Earth, and they attempt to trap the crew inside a comic and send them into Springfield. So Fry and the group end up in Springfield. The rest of the group is susceptible to the brain spawn's interference, and so they quickly become assimilated and try to join the storyline of what's happening in the comic and interact with the people of Springfield, whereas Fry's the only one who knows what's going on and tries to stop everything. However, Fry's a bit of a bumbling fool, so it takes a while for him to work it out and get everybody back together. Basically, everybody in here meets their counterpart from the other show. So we've got Bender hanging out at Moe's Tavern with Homer and getting drunk. We've got Zoidberg ending up at the nuclear power plant and running into the quack doctor. And Hermes meeting Smithers. We've got Nibbler hanging out with Maggie, and just it's so much fun to see these characters interacting with each other. The second half of the story follows an experiment that Farnsworth does with an invention he has that makes fictional characters come to life, so come out of their stories. And the first thing he does is bring the characters from a Simpsons comic into the world of New York, and they become like flesh and blood characters. However, the people of New York don't want an influx of new people, so they quickly decide that they're fictional, don't have rights, and try to enslave them. And it's interesting to see where each of the characters in The Simpsons end up becoming slaves and working. We also get to see other fictional characters come out of their works. So we've got Tom Sawyer and Anna Green Gables and Dracula running around New York. I really enjoyed the main storyline of the crossover and what was happening and getting to see these two interact. I really love Futurama, so I love the fact that most of what was happening was kind of following the Futurama crew. Also, the way that they interweave, the fact that The Simpsons exist as comic books in the Futurama world is kind of cool. The art style of these shows isn't too terribly different, so they blend really well together and work well together. This one's not really showing you The Simpsons, but it does have tons of references to different comic books and really playing around with the fact that this is a comic book and using that to its advantage. So they get sucked into comics, and there's things like getting stuck in the comic book ads and stuff and how stories are told. which I really love about it. The art looks and feels like it's one of the television shows, like it works seamlessly together. The writing style of both shows, as they're both created by the same person, is kind of similar, so the jokes work well together, the characters interact well together. I am loving it. It's fun. I don't know that it's necessarily a must-read. Like, there's no groundbreaking new information you're gonna get about either of these characters. It's just fun to see them. Like, if you want more adventures from these guys, especially the Futurama crew. Rather the Simpsons crew, I guess, because there's more Simpsons comics in it. I love the way that it plays around with books and fictional characters. So this is fun. I definitely enjoyed reading this comics. So the first bonus comic that is included in this book is Hail to the Cat. This is a Simpsons comic, and it's the one that they fall into. So it's the comic that Fry is reading at the time that they get sucked into the comics. So that's why it's included. So this storyline revolves around the Simpsons cat Snowball running for mayor and what happens when she wins and becomes the mayor of Springfield. Lots and lots of crazy fun hijinks. I really enjoyed this one. There is also the comic Chili Chili Bang Bang, in which Chief Wiggum stars, and he is cooking up a really, really spicy chili because Homer is always talking about how the chili is not spicy enough. So Wiggum tries to outdo him, and then he tastes the chili that he made, and it causes him to hallucinate. Specifically, he is hallucinating about this story that his son Ralph told him about a magical puppy. Like, definitely the most bizarre story in this book. It also includes a reprint of the original Simpsons comic, which is mentioned in the Crossover Crisis. In this one, Homer gets turned into a giant and starts terrorizing Springfield. Final bonus comic is Bart Simpson's Creepy Crawly Tales #1. And this one involves a comic book collector who gets trapped in his climate-controlled comic vault and goes crazy while he has to wait for a servant to come let him out over the weekend. It's very reminiscent of a Treehouse of Horror episode, and since I've been watching those recently, being, just having had Halloween, I thoroughly appreciated that. Also, the fact that this one relates to books and comics. As for bonus features, this volume includes alternate covers and crossover art that don't necessarily relate to the storyline, but are just fun Simpsons Futurama crossovers, which is obviously what we're here for. And there's also a collection of preliminary sketches and showing how the storyline developed. I don't personally find these very interesting, so I didn't look at them, but if you're into that, that's included in this volume. So on the whole, I really enjoyed the Simpsons Futurama Crossover Crisis. This is a fun comic. There's a lot going on in it. I super love Futurama, so I appreciate there being Futurama comics, and it feels like both these characters and these worlds, and it's fantastic, and we get to see both of them interacting with each other. And so many jokes. These are both really funny cartoons, and they definitely have that same feel, those same jokes, those same pop culture references, especially toying around with the fact that this is a comic book and making comic and book references. They play with things that have happened in the shows and in the comics before and bringing them back into it. So I love it. Super love it. Definitely gave them, I think, 4 stars. So I really enjoyed this. If you guys want to check it out, totally do that. Thought I had to do this review because there weren't any on the internet. What is wrong with you, internet? I'm going to fix that. So, yeah. If you have read this, let me know in the comments below what you thought of it. And if you're a fan of either The Simpsons or the Futurama, tell me what your favorite characters are and favorite plots. So my favorite character from The Simpsons is probably Lisa. She's such a bookworm and so honest, and she tries so hard to basically be normal with all the chaos that happens in her family. My favorite Futurama character is Bender, just because he's so outlandishly out there and so funny. Peace out. I love you guys, and keep reading. Bye.